12 noon, and this is City Line. Hi, I'm Jackie Hall.
And I'm B.T. Bentley. Many people view homosexuals, transsexuals, and transvestites as unnatural deviants.
As a result, these individuals go through indescribable pain and mental anguish.
Today on City Line, we'll meet such an individual, a person whose life was so difficult that in the end she was faced with two options, suicide or a sex change operation.
Sharon Davis chose to have a sex change, and today she's a happy woman, something she has always wanted to be.
Collecting black memorabilia. It's turning out to be quite a pastime. I'm T. Montier. Today on NewsCap, I'll have a close-up look.
Hi, I'm Harold Anthony, and today we'll take a look at a new video whose artist is best known to us as the co-superstar of one of America's hottest television programs. Hold on to your seats, ladies, because Philip Michael Thomas has just released a smoking video entitled Just the Way I Planned It. And I have it planned for today's edition of the entertainment page.
Join Jackie and me as we hear Sharon Davis tell of her struggle as a female trapped inside a male's body.
We'll also discuss her book, A Finer Specimen of Womanhood, which she speaks to those confused about their sexual identity. A transsexual speaks out, up next on City Line.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for this edition of City Line. We'd like to start right off and introduce you to Sharon Davis. Sharon, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Let me ask you, as we get into this, I think it might be important to establish some things. In our teas, we mentioned homosexuals, transsexuals, and transvestites. You are a transsexual, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Have you ever considered yourself at any point prior to your becoming a woman or your fulfillment as a woman as being a homosexual? Can you make that differentiation for us?
No, because homosexuals are individuals that desire the same sex, whereas though in my transformation, I've always felt that I was a woman, female. Homosexuals could be male or female, but they want the same sex. Whereas though if I was content like that, I would have never went through my surgery.
Okay. Let's go back to your childhood. At what point did the female in you start coming out?
Approximately when I was about 8 years old, I began to have different feelings.
What sorts of things did you experience? I mean, both in terms of your own feelings as well as the way people interacted with you.
Well, I knew that I was different from other individuals, other male individuals, that is. I never had the same desires. I've always wanted my own doll. I always wanted to be left alone, very neat, very clean, just not rough at all.
I think in your book you refer to, at some point in your childhood, trading in your train or something for a doll. I mean, how real was that experience and what was it like?
Oh, it just made me feel different when I found someone that would make the trade. It's a girl around the corner. She said, "Sure, I'll trade you my doll." I was like, oh my God, I have a doll of my own, but what am I going to do with it when I get home, you know?
No, we said in the opening material that you were a woman trapped inside of a man's body. Was that an accurate portrayal for you? Did you honestly feel trapped?
Well, I like to use a statement as to I had to get my body in tune with my mind. My mind was always that of a female. I've always felt that way. And therefore, I felt a small correction had to be made. And that, of course, was with the removal of my male organs.
Let me ask you something that may very well be a philosophical question. As a result of your saying you had to get the body in sync with the mind and
Yes.
in the reverse to be true as well, do you feel that in the philosophical sense that perhaps God made a mistake?
Definitely not. I believe that God never makes a mistake. I just feel that, for instance, like some people were born with 6 fingers and 6 toes. God gave the doctors knowledge to remove this extra finger or toe. And I feel the same way in my situation.
Okay, now prior to your, as a matter of fact, some time prior to your surgical transformation, you had some hormonal studies done.
Yes.
And what did they show?
That was my chromosome study that I had done. And it was at a gender identity clinic. It showed that my chromosomes had an imbalance. I had more female chromosomes than I did male, and that's what caused the imbalance, which stated that I should have been born a female.
Was it torturous for you
Yes.
as a young person?
Most definitely, because individuals didn't understand. And when you don't understand something, you tend to sniggle or laugh or poke, things of this nature. So I've had my trying times.
Did they taunt you?
Occasionally.
How did your family respond to you at the age of 13, 17, whatever? How did they handle your difference?
Well, they were there for me. They never harassed me or anything. It was more or less like a stand-by and wait-and-see situation as to what happens. Because, you know, when an individual is in their adolescence, they're still growing, and it's a possibility that one's mind might change or something of that nature.
Did they hope that you would change?
Well, no, not really. They've always been there for me regardless of my lifestyle and my family, you know. They'll always be there for me.
At what point or age did these feelings begin to manifest themselves in terms of your dress or your actual carriage?
When I was 13.
Actually at 13?
Yeah, I used to go into the gas station bathrooms and go in dressed as a guy, come out, you know, as a female, have my clothes and all. Just make me feel, yeah, at 13.
Why would you go into a gas station bathroom and do that? Why didn't you do it at home?
Because I didn't feel as though my parents were ready for such. Not only that, I don't want to impose what I feel upon anyone. So if I could just go on and live my life and be happy and make everything easy, fine.
Did they know that you were coming out of a gas station bathroom dressed as a female?
No, but they've heard. They've heard. A lot of people see me and recognize me because a lot of people already say, well, you already look like a girl before the surgery, so.
Okay, we're going to talk a lot more with Sharon Davis in just a few minutes. We've got to break away from this message. Stay with us.
And we're talking to Sharon Davis, who is a transsexual. You know, when we opened the show, BT had you to answer some questions about homosexual, transvestite, and transsexual, but we didn't really clarify the difference between a transsexual and a transvestite.
Right. Many individuals tend to get that terminology confused. A transvestite is a male individual that just dresses in female clothing for pleasure, sexual pleasure. Whereas though a transsexual is that individual within heart, mind, body, and soul of the opposite sex, or feeling that they were in the wrong sex, that is. So a lot of people just parade around in women's clothes, and a lot of people think, oh, well, they're gay, or they're homosexual, or they're transsexual, but they're not. They're just wearing these clothes for feeling.
Now, so at the point at which you were going into the gas station bathrooms to change clothes, then you were a transvestite, is that correct?
No, I was always a transsexual.
Okay.
Always. I've always, because of the fact that I had these feelings about me being a female, that's what changes that. I was never ever content in male clothing.
So that the transsexual doesn't necessarily have to have had an operation to be a transsexual, by your definition.
That is correct. They are leading up to that. A transsexual is an individual that is in the process of going through hormones and electrolysis, if that's necessary, and psychotherapy and psychological and psychiatric treatment, leading up to their ultimate goal, which is the surgery.
In terms of your identity, at what point did you become Sharon?
Well, if I must think back over those years, when I had my name changed, is that what you want to know?
Well, when did you start being known as Sharon?
Well, I had a lot of friends that always knew me as Sharon. I was about 17. Okay. I wanted to be called Sharon. I said, I have to really get a name that's going to fit my personality.
Mm-hmm.
And what is incorporated in the name Sharon that makes it you?
Well, sharing. I like to share with people, and when I hear that share, and then the O-N, Sharon, to share this knowledge that I have with other individuals.
So at some point in your life, you decided, I have got to make the physical change that puts me in sync with my spiritual self.
That is correct.
When was that?
think I made that change long ago, but it didn't begin to come into reality until I was about 18.
And what was that? Tell us about that
Well,
process.
I was going to the public libraries, reading books and whatnot in reference to other transsexuals that's had this operation. Christine Jergensen, she had an operation, and I was trying to understand everything that she went through. And from there, I began to search, ask doctors about hormones and whatnot and things of this nature.
Okay. We have a call waiting for you now, someone who wants to talk to you. Hi, caller. You're on City Line.
Yes, I'd like to know if it was his peer pressure or God who helped change him.
You mean who helped make him make the decision to
Make that
change?
decision.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, it's no longer him, it's her and she. God did see me through this because I had faith in myself as well as God. And no peer pressure in the world could change me or anything of that nature. I felt this within, okay? The peer pressure only made me much stronger and more determined to reach my ultimate goal and let my feelings out. Instead of carrying a crutch and crying about what people had to say, I used that negative criticism and turned it into constructive criticism to go on forward.
Thank you, caller. Okay, let's go to BT in the audience. BT?
Jackie, we not only have, I believe, a question or a comment, but we also have a very interesting situation. You know Sharon?
Yes, I do.
At what point did you realize that you knew Sharon?
When I saw her come in.
Into the studio?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I had a feeling, though, to be honest. When I was told the name Sharon, I said, I know it's Sharon, and I know Sharon from school. And when she came in, I said, that's Sharon.
Now, did you know Sharon as Sharon in school or
Yes.
Sharon as
Sharon.
Roger?
As Sharon, I believe.
Did you have any inclination that Sharon had to go through quite a bit to become Sharon?
I guess I did. I had my own thoughts, but we never discussed it or anything, and I guess I did. But I'm shocked and I'm pleased because Sharon is so beautiful and she's so warm.
Thank you.
Okay.
Very good.
But I have a question though, Sharon. And I wanted to know how recent have you gone through the change, or did you have the operation?
It's been since 1980.
1980.
Yes, so that's been a while.
Okay.
You know, you say that you're surprised and you're happy, but you look a little uncomfortable. You seem to be fishing for words. Are you uncomfortable with Sharon now?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Okay.
But Sharon, let me follow up on that. Do you find that often people are uncomfortable being around you?
No, generally they love it. Most people I talk to, they don't base me or judge me on my sexual identity. As long as I can perform the necessary tasks that I've set out to do in that environment, I have no problems whatsoever.
Okay, we've got another caller waiting to talk to you. Hello, caller. You're on City Line.
Yes, I wanted to know, as far as your family was concerned, did you get much support from your family?
Well, I've always tried to give my family respect, and I didn't want to push them overboard because I didn't want to push myself overboard as far as this research and whatnot is going on, okay? But of course now today I'm over the borderline, so it's nothing no one can say or do, okay?
Now, over the borderline, thank you, caller, meaning what?
Meaning that even if anyone had any disapproval as to what I'm doing, it's a little bit too late for that now. Is that okay?
Okay, back to BT.
You have another question? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Sharon. I wanted to know if you had many problems in elementary, junior high, and high school.
No, I had some problems in high school for a while there. Guys really liked me. They took to me as if I was a female, and they was always saying, why don't you stop doing your eyes like this, stop doing your hands like this, what's wrong with you? And trying to, because they were uncomfortable, yet I would find them saying, I want you to come over my house tonight.
You attended high school as a male in terms of dress?
No, I just more or less coordinated my clothing in the fashion that the unisex style, which would, if you didn't know me, then you would have to think twice.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, so I noticed you corrected the first caller. She said him.
Yes, that is correct.
So you are no longer a him.
No, well, really, I never was. Just physically there, okay, I was. But I've never been a him, ever. And for someone to say that now, it's more or less like trying to challenge me, you know, and I don't go around parading in the nude trying to show what I have. I am a female. I'm sure there's a lot of men out there that would vouch for me.
Let me ask you another question. Now, if we didn't know that you were once, and your previous name was Roger Davis, is that correct?
As much as I must admit it, yes it is.
Okay. Okay, if we did not know that you were once, in name only at least, Roger Davis, and that you're now Sharon Davis, no one would ever know, really, would they?
No, because I've had my birth certificate changed, my social security card changed, my driver's license changed, and there is no other individual under that name existing. So you can climb from here to London, you still won't find that name anywhere.
Do you find that women are intimidated by you because you are attractive, you are feminine, you're charming? Do you find women are intimidated?
No, I get a lot of support from the biological female gender. Of course, there's always that sneaky few, okay, that will do their little pranks and things of this nature. I call them Judy because they betray you every now and then and play little games.
Judas.
Yes, you got the point.
Okay, let's see if we can take another question from the audience.
Yes, ma'am.
Sharon, I would like to ask you, when you date males for the first time, do you feel a need to tell them that you have had an operation or a sex change?
No, I do not. I don't think that I should have to because of the fact that I'm more or less equal, if not a little bit better, than the next female that they may have been with, because everything is in working order.
Okay. What we're going to do now, we're going to take a break, and what we're going to do, we're going to find out about that working order, and we're going to find out about the operation that enabled her to have things in working order. Stay with us.
With a very happy Sharon Davis, but Sharon, you weren't always happy. Immediately before the surgery was done, okay, you said there were some criteria you had to meet just to qualify for this kind of surgery. What kind of things were going on?
Well, they have a criteria where you must start on female hormones. And if you have heavy facial hair growth, you have to have that removed by electrologist, which is permanent hair removal. Okay? And there's a lady I go to named Miss O'Brien in Belcamp, Maryland. She's very good. Also does skincare for me. After you go through all that, you need to see a psychologist and a psychiatrist to get an evaluation and make sure you know what you're doing. Because if not, if the doctor just ups and jumps and start doing this operation for people, and then you say, well, I don't want this, then you know he's going to be sued for malpractice.
No
this is a very, very serious situation. It's not just something that you just up and down, you do it because you want to and you can pay your money to get it done. It just doesn't work like that. Then you have to cross-dress, meaning cross-dress is opposite. If you're going to change to female, then you dress in that sex for 6 months to a year, which I've did for many years, so that wasn't even a criteria at all for me.
But in terms of your mental state, I mean, was the anticipation creating a happy situation? What type of support did you require?
I was always frustrated, and I cried, and I talked to people about what I'm going to do, and they got so sick of me talking about it, they said, don't say nothing else about it till you get it done.
So you were encouraged.
That helped build my mental positive attitude up, okay? By them just putting me down and all, she's constantly talking about this all the time. It's like I was talking about my book. The final specimen telling people, well, I have a book coming out. Oh, this book. And now my book has been released by Vantage Press in New York. And everybody's like, oh, you really wrote a book? You mean you really had the nerve enough to do that?
And that is the book right there up on the screen right now. Jackie, I believe, has a question in the audience.
Right, we have a question.
Sharon, I would like to know how long did it take for the operation, and how long did it take for you to be completely recovered as far as able to move about?
Okay, I'll answer a couple of your questions, but I don't want to give everything away because most of that's in my book. But what happened was it took 5.5 hours in surgery, and I've never been in a hospital before for anything major surgery. And they had a hard time waking me up after they put me to sleep. They kept calling me, I wouldn't wake up. Okay, so 5.5 hours of that. Out of the recovery room, back. I stayed in the hospital for 2 weeks, went home, stayed in the house for approximately maybe a month or two, thought I was better and wanted to get out. Boom, sick again. had to go back in the house and stay for like 3 more months, approximately 6 months. I'd say after my surgery, I was well, all healed and everything.
Here's one follow-up question.
Okay, also, I would like to know, in the research in your family background, has there ever been what they call people hidden in the closet, where they always felt like you and parents thought something was wrong and they had to stay in the house or was turned into a mental institution?
Well, it didn't happen in my case, but they say there's a skeleton in every closet. So
You just don't know the skeleton.
So you
Right,
don't know
that
yet,
is-
but
that is correct.
it's nice to know.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Okay, we're also going to take some calls from home. I believe we have one ready right now. Hello, you're on City Line. Go ahead, please.
I would like to know, how does her family explain it to other people, to other family members or other friends of hers? And also, how would she want it explained to people, and how would she want it understood?
Okay.
Okay, well then if you just read my book, okay, again, my book explains everything. My family members don't have to explain anything for me because my book is out and that does all the explaining that there is. But in the event that any of my family members are approached, then the only thing they have to say is, why don't you talk to her about it? Because they are not inside of me. All thought, I try to get them to see what I'm going through psychologically and emotionally.
Thank you for your call.
Okay, you're welcome.
If Sharon, do tell me, and how do you tell someone? I mean, you're out on a date. I assume that it's not something that you just come out and tell somebody the first time that you see them. At what point do you feel comfortable explaining it to them? How do you go about it?
Well, why should I have to tell them? Would you want me to tell you if we were on a date?
No, I'm asking, do you feel you need to? And at what point do you feel you need to?
No, well, if that ever arises, then I would generally go by my instincts, and I don't just tell the individual, well, I'm a transsexual or something of that nature. I just tell them I had corrective surgery.
It's a certain sense of freedom now.
Of course, most definitely. And then if they want to know more, I tell them the same thing. Get my book and read it.
Okay. Jackie, another question?
Okay, here's a question.
Yes, you're so attractive. How's your love life?
Thank you so much for asking. It's wonderful. It's always been beautiful. I've never had too many problems because there are a lot of guys out there that even if they don't really care what you are about, they tend to be there for you, and I really appreciate that.
And a serious question, what about child?
What about children? Well, I have a son. Yes, I adopted a son. He's 10 months old, and he's sitting over there in that corner.
And we're going to bring him on just a little bit later, but she did ask, childbearing, are you capable of having children?
No, not presently, I'm not. And right now, I don't think there's a need for me to even go through that. Although medical science is a wonder in itself, and you never can tell what the future brings about for anyone, okay?
Beautiful.
Excellent. So you're pulling for them.
Yes.
You needed a lot of support, and now you give a lot of support to others who are going through a similar type of situation. What sorts of things do you need to be told as this process is going on? There's a lot that takes place even after the operation.
Yeah, well, you got to know for yourself that this is what you want. No one can influence you because there's no turning back. And you have to feel this within. You have to know this. And I would be very hurt to see an individual make a drastic decision that they really did not want to do and regret the rest of their life.
Okay. Jackie, another question?
Question?
I would like to know how much did it cost to get all that done?
Okay, starting from pre-op to post-op, from beginning to finish, which I'm still not finished because, like I said, I'm getting skincare now. Once in a while, I may go back for a touch-up of the electrologist.
Are you happy with yourself?
Yes, most definitely, in the amount of $25,000.
Okay, let me ask. Now, she's asking how much did it cost to get all of that done. We need to know what was all of that was done.
Okay, all the evaluations, the psychiatric evaluations and the counseling and the hormones, which are very expensive, and going to the doctor back and forth to New York.
What about the physical process during the operation?
Okay, the
What happened to you as a man that now changes you into a woman physically?
Well, it's hard for me to try to deal with that terminology, but I'll explain it the best I can. When they took me into the hospital and they changed me, dealing with my male organs, removed them from my body, and then created a vagina, as the females here today have, I began to go through a period. It felt like my body was going through a little shock like I was missing a finger or something, because when you lose a finger or arm, your body goes through a shock about that. And that kind of happened to me for a while. But as I began to heal, everything was just going fine.
So you no longer have male organs?
That is so correct.
And your female organs are now fully functional.
That is correct. I have 100% feeling, as any other female does. I'm able to reach a climax.
Okay. Okay. The process after the operation, you had the physical change. What other sorts of things did you have to have done? I mean, it's not just a single procedure. There's much more yet. Electrolysis, what else?
Okay, well, like I said, once you get the operation done, they can do it in 2 stages or 1 stage.
Mm-hmm.
The 1 stage is more popular because you don't walk around half man, half woman. You get everything taken care of. After that, you go for your follow-up treatments. There's a dilation period that you have to wear a dilator up inside of you to let the vagina heal properly, because it could possibly close up during the healing process if you don't do this correctly. You have to take cis baths. All this is in my book and explains to you how you heal and whatnot. Then you go through whatever else you want to get done. Like I'm working on my face now and my skin, and I'm getting skin care. And my therapist, Miss O'Brien, like I said, she charges me so much an hour, and she does a fantastic job. She scrubs my face, she washes it, cleans it, peels it, whatever it needs to help me keep myself together, because this is something that I want. Not trying to be better than any other woman, but we all should be the best at what we are.
Okay. We're going to come right back and continue our discussion in just a minute. Please stay with us.
To Sharon Davis, and Sharon is a transsexual, and you wrote a book called A Finer Specimen of Womanhood.
That is correct.
Now, I know you've been plugging it through this discussion. Why did you actually write the book?
Well, because I want to help other individuals and their family members. There may be someone that has an individual in their family that's experiencing something that I'm experiencing. Whereas though they don't know what to do, they can't go to a doctor because they're not going to say, well, this person's crazy. They're not doing that anymore. They're trying to help them the best way that they can.
So far, have you found that it has been helpful to
Yes.
those who are confused? And
Yes, it's helped a lot of family members. I get lots of letters, and in the event that anyone wants to write me, they can at P.O. Box 892, Edgewood, Maryland. The zip is 21040. Or if you want my book, you can write Vantage Press in New York. Okay.
Okay. B.T.?
Yes, sir.
Sharon, my question is, earlier in the show we established the fact that God does not make mistakes. Is that correct?
I'm glad you heard that. You heard me correctly.
Okay, but yet and still you said that you had to go through this because there was a female locked up inside of you and you had to bring it out. Well, if God doesn't make mistakes, then you were born with everything that God created for you to have. But yet and still you changed it. And how do you feel about that?
Well, I feel about what you're saying is being taken out of context, because as I gave you an example of an individual having 6 fingers or 6 toes, I wouldn't want my son walking around with 6 fingers knowing everybody else in this room had 5. I would take him to a doctor immediately and say, with the knowledge that God has given you, doctors, please remove this finger so he can have a more comfortable life. That is my philosophy. I say, judge not that thou be not judged. He who without sin, let him cast the first stone. So I let that be like that.
Well, you know, there's no judgment cast. If you took it wrong, I'm
no,
sorry.
I didn't take it wrong. It's just that I'm just merely throwing that out, because a lot of times I meet individuals that'll say, now you've did this, don't you think you're going to go to hell? Whereas though I said, I prayed on my dying bed on the operating table, God, if I'm doing something wrong, let me die, or forgive me and spare me. So if I did something wrong, then I say to those individuals who don't understand, seek a greater understanding in God and let me live my execution out now, if that be the case.
Okay.
God bless you.
Thank you so much. I need all of his blessings.
Let me ask you now about your love life. One of our members of the audience did ask, how's your love life? How is your love life? I mean, do you have an ongoing relationship, an established relationship? If you do, is it with a male?
Most definitely. I'm not a lesbian, so therefore I wouldn't be messing with a female, okay? Because I have with other females, I must establish that, okay? And it's with a male, and not only that, I have other male friends, and as I said, they're all supportive of me. And it's not just the part of sex thing. Like, you hear the word transsexual. I consider myself a heterosexual female, and it's just a normal relationship that any other male and female has.
So you have a long-term, ongoing relationship?
Yes, I do.
Now, about adopting the baby, so you made a conscious decision to adopt a baby because you could not bear children?
No, it wasn't because of that, because if I wanted to, I could spend enough money and go and have something worked on. They're working on that now. Of course, they're not letting the public know until they get it together the same way they did with the test tube baby. They're waiting until they get this right, and then they let the public in on it. I did this because a friend of mine, she was having problems and all, and I was there, so I said, okay, this is an opportunity for both of us.
So...
Okay. Well, we've got somebody very special that we're going to bring on right now. This is Sharon's son.
Oh, Sherelle.
Looks like somebody wants to cry.
You have had Sherelle since he was 2 months?
Yes.
Okay, he's now 10 months.
That is correct. And a big boy, too.
Well, how does it feel being a mother?
It feels great. It takes a lot of patience and understanding, go through fears and whatnot.
Do you think there'll ever be a time you'll tell Sherelle the whole story?
Sure, if he would like to know, I'll tell him. I have no problem with that. I have no hang-ups. It's the individuals that don't understand these things have the hang-ups with themselves.
Well, how will you tell him? How do you think you might tell him?
I'll just tell him that Mommy had to go through a small change and whatnot, and at that time, it wasn't really that popular with the public, which will probably never be. Oh, hey, Mia. Say I'm a little boy. Everybody thinks I'm a little girl.
How would you react if at some point Sherelle felt something similar to what you went through?
Oh, I'd just probably cry and be devastated, but most of all, I would be understanding. He won't do anything like that. I'll make sure to do it, because if he has some kind of feelings, we'll know in the very early stages, which that question is totally out.
Sharon, what's in your future?
What's in my future? Well, I'm working on my master's degree right now in human services. I'm going to be counseling transsexuals and people that think they have problems with their gender identity. I want to help them. And I'm going to write part 2 to my life.
Well, okay. Well, we at City Line appreciate you having visited us today and wish you the best of luck. And I hope your book goes well as well. Okay, we're going to take a break now and come back with T. Montier and the NewsCap. Stay with us.
Good afternoon. Topping today's NewsCap. To some, it's a favorite pastime bordering on obsession. To others, it's just something that may have occurred naturally, evolving with the years. It is collecting black memorabilia, and we have a report.
Score 10, a good 12 and a half, 12 and a half, say it, 12, could have been at 15, $15 bid at 17 and a half, second bid, 15, 17 and a half, $20 now, we got $20 bid all the way back, 2 and a half, we got 22, we got 5, 5, 5, we call the 5, we got 22 and a half, second bid.
The number of those collecting black memorabilia in the Baltimore metropolitan area has escalated over recent years. Many people are finding that accumulated antiques, once viewed as junk, can easily be converted into sizable amounts of cash. Auctions solely devoted to black Americana and black memorabilia to date have only occurred in and around the Baltimore-Washington area. Items up for bid at these auctions include handmade rugs, ceramic dolls, movie billboards, extraordinary paintings, original prints, and many, many oddities exhibiting black Americana. For the most part, blacks have tended to shy away from collecting black Americana. Stereotypical characters exhibiting exaggerated features such as large red lips, wide noses, and enlarged eyes have been termed ugly and offensive. Many view these items as relics of racism.
Well, some of them I think are sort of stereotype, and I don't like them. Especially in the black items, they'll accentuate perhaps large lips or the nose, or they'll have many kitchen items, whereas the blacks are usually kept in the kitchen or as servants. I don't like items like that.
Nevertheless, others continue to build their collections, believing that memorabilia is in fact a chronological history of a people.
I've been collecting black prints for quite some time because, to me, the ones that I've collected are kind of chronological history of black people.
I'm interested in obtaining some black memorabilia, particularly anything that I can gather that pertained to my father, who was one of the original Gold Dust twin models.
It's something that I've always thought has been neglected, the history of the black Americana, particularly in this country. So many of the people, particularly the black people, were into black Africa and their heritage, but they've eliminated a lot of what the United States did commercially with blacks.
Many items can be easily dated, thus illustrating the manner in which blacks were depicted in movies, artwork, and print advertisements. As the popularity of collecting black memorabilia grows, so does the price of each item. Many collectibles originally costing pennies now demand exorbitant, inflated prices.
I think it's a fad. I think a lot of people are into it, and a lot of people are getting things and they don't know the value, and therefore the price is going up and things are getting very scarce.
Collecting black memorabilia is getting to be very hard because the prices have shot up. Whites realize that blacks want to collect some of their history, so the prices are almost out of sight, and you could practically pick up something for $2 or $3 originally, but not now.
The plastic material is bringing more, a higher percentage based on what it originally cost. An item which was sold for a dime or $1 is now $25, $35, $40.
If you are interested in starting your own black memorabilia collection, here are a few pointers. First, decide the interested in attending a black memorabilia auction, simply contact local galleries for dates and times. Those galleries are listed in the yellow pages. And that is today's NewsCap. I'm T. Montier. More City Line up next. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Harold Anthony, and today I'd like to tell you about a performer who's been singing and acting from the time he was 4 years old. Philip Michael Thomas, co-star of the famed television show Miami Vice, is a 36-year-old superstar and the father of 8 children. In a personal interview with one of the Entertainment Page's correspondents, Thomas said that he has no problems balancing his work and his family life. Although he does wish he could spend more time with his children, Thomas added that the most important thing he could do for his kids was to teach them that the only limitations in life are the ones that you put on yourself. Thomas, a native of Columbus, Ohio, is one of 7 children, and even while he was growing up in Los Angeles, he had dreams of becoming a singer and a movie star. He entered school talent shows and started acting in his church's theater group. At 15, he became the director of his church choir and had what he called an encounter with Christ. Thomas considered becoming a minister and received a 1-year scholarship to the Oakwood College in Alabama, where he studied religion and philosophy. After 1 year, he transferred to the University of California at Riverside. While there, he saw a production of Hair and said, "That's a very religious show, and I want to be a part of that." Without any previous acting experience, he landed a role with a San Francisco acting company, and, well, we know the rest of the story. Here's Philip Michael Thomas with his brand new video, Just the Way I Planned It.
It's been a long time coming. I
for day and night to find that special someone who makes me feel so right. I know there's something special. I can feel it in your vibe. Knowing you lets me know what it means to be alive. 'Cause it's just the way I planned it. Complete harmony. Yes, it's just the way I planned it. More than I'd ever dreamed. In you I found the one thing that means so much to me. Knowing you lets me know happiness and love get free. 'Cause it's just the way I planned it. Complete harmony. Yes, it's just the way I planned it. More than I'd ever dreamed. You give me so much happiness in everything you bring. Loving you is all I need to make my heart sing. It's just the way I planned it. Complete harmony. Yes, it's just the way I planned it. Fulfill my fantasy. I'm like a child at Christmas. The little gifts you give makes me laugh and play. Open up and live. 'Cause it's just the way I planned it. Complete harmony. Yes, it's just the way I planned it. Fulfill my fantasy. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Wisdom and knowledge and understanding. Wisdom and knowledge and understanding. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Just the way I planned it. Just the way I planned it.
That was Miami Vice's multi-talented Philip Michael Thomas with his video, Just the Way I Planned It. I know you hated to see that one end, but in the future you can look forward to the release of his album, Living the Book of My Life, which is a part of his multi-million-dollar deal with Atlantic Records, which also includes a $75,000 deluxe combination theater, recording studio and art center, and a Philip Michael Thomas clothing line. Thomas left us with these words: "I want to be remembered for being a pioneer and a builder in an industry that I love." Well, I'm sure that a lot of you at home are sitting on some talent of your own. Well, if you have an act but you need a stage, or you're full of routines but you need an audience, well, Harbor Place can help. The annual Street Performers Auditions will be held Saturday, March 15th and 16th from 11 a.m. till 5 p.m. in the Harbor Place Amphitheater. They're looking for musicians, jugglers, magicians, singers, and any other talented performers to join their group. For more information, call Laurie Fleischman by March 7th at 332-4191. Also, the Peel Museum is now presenting an exciting new exhibit called Life on Pennsylvania Avenue. You can enjoy a collection of memorabilia from the Avenue, as it was nicknamed, now through June 1st at 225 Holiday Street. This nostalgic view features an intriguing array of photographs, sheet music, souvenirs, advertising posters, and flyers, plus a cutaway of a nightclub bandstand. For additional information, call the City Life Museum at 396-3523 or 396-1149. Finally, For the Love of Music is presenting the Showcase of Legends with special appearances by Little Jimmy Scott and Baltimore's own Ruby Glover tonight at Godfrey's Famous Ballroom, located at 1717 North Charles Street. There are only a few tickets left, so you'll want to hurry and get yours now. For more information, you can call 947-7910 or 466-8406. Oh, and jazz lovers, keep in mind that Wynton Marsalis will be appearing at Ethel's Place February 28th through March 2nd. For more show information and dinner reservations, phone 727-7077. And with that, I'll have to wrap up another edition of the Entertainment Page. I'm Harold Anthony, hoping I'll see you all next Sunday.
Oh, I bet Jackie enjoyed that video.
Well, I don't know why you would say that.
You were dancing and sweating so much in the back there. Should have seen her back there watching.
I didn't know you had noticed. My heavens forbid.
Kind of hard to miss. You were glued to the tube, you know?
I must admit, I am partial to Philip Michael Thomas. I don't know why, though.
Okay. You didn't like that part where he took off his shirt, huh?
No, I didn't. I loved it.
Nobody could see it that way.
I loved it. But at any rate, I love next week's show, too.
That's right. We have a very special guest. Mr. Wynton Marsalis will be right here. Wynton Marsalis will
Live
be live
and in living color.
In living color. Right here in our studios. He'll be in town over the weekend. He's going to stop in and say hi.
Yes, and we hope that you'll tune into that show. It's worthwhile because it's not every day that we get a Wynton Marsalis. It's interesting, too, because City Line was one of the few local shows that got Miles Davis sometime
This is
back.
correct.
So you see, we're a biggie here.
Especially with the trumpet player.
Yes.
It's been a great show. Thanks for joining us. I'm B.T. Bentley.
I'm Jackie Hall. Have a good Sunday.
Bye-bye.